Hello and welcome to the Failsafe Fitness Golf Show. My name is Michael Joshua. I am the owner and director of Failsafe Fitness Limited. Excuse me, moi. If you have listened to me before, welcome back to the show. If you're listening for the first time, I cough a lot, so you'll get over that. No, I'm only kidding. I don't cough that much. Not anymore. COVID should be gone by now, shouldn't it? Shouldn't it? Anyway, we're off topic. Welcome to the show. If you haven't listened to us before, then I am going to be giving you about 30 minutes of golf news, my very personal opinions on some news stories that have been in the golf world over the past week or so. And you're also going to get a golf tip of the week, as well as looking at the tournaments that the big boys and girls, the pros of this world, are playing this week. Before we get into all of that, though, couple of things I want to bring your attention to. You may see in the link of the description of this show, there is a new linky to a place called Played. Now, Played is something that's being run in association with the Golf England. Golf England govern the English handicap system. And in that, there's a link to my page. I'm setting up a short game Sundays. So a beginner's short game Sundays. It's going to be 7 weeks, run over the summer, starting from the 19th of May. There's a link in that description, but you still need to call me or email me to book in. I have a maximum of 10 players that can come to these sessions. It is £10 per head. It's going to last around somewhere between 50 and an hour and 20. So 50 minutes and an hour and 20. We're going to go through things like grips, different grips that you can use, basic setup, strategies to use around the green, strategies to use to get over obstacles, strategies from 30 yards, strategies from 50 yards, and some putting is going to be one of those sessions as well. So 7 sessions, those are all the strategies. They're being planned right now. There is already we're already down on a couple of those, down to about 5 sessions. So if you do want to book in, please email or ring me and I will get you booked in for those Sundays. £10 per person per session, 7 weeks. Whether you're a beginner or whether you're a seasoned pro, it's always nice to have some ideas, fresh or not, or a new perspective on how to play shots from 50 yards and in, and how to practice your putting and chipping in the future. So if you do want to sign up, that link is in the description. Also, of course, there's the bulk and my protein links, saving you money on £45 orders, including either free delivery or up to 45% off your total order. So use those links in the description. It helps the show out and it's going to be very good. And that is the exciting news I've been working on behind the scenes. So as a non-professional golf coach, so not PGA qualified, but player qualified. Me as a player, I'm qualified. Working with Dan Greaves about 25 years ago on my short game, and of course helping out people last year and going full-time coach this year. It's nice to bring something in association with Golf England to help bring new people into the game, and that's the initiative, is to bring new people into the game and improve people's games while they're in it. So please go and take a look, sign up, and I'll see you all at Himley on those 7 Sundays. Okie dokie then, let's get into everything that's been going on with me this week. So obviously, if you haven't heard the show before, this is what I'll do. I'll ramble on. I might get distracted, I may not. It does happen. I can have a rant now and again. I can be very informative, but hey, you're the one listening. If you like it, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all your social media platforms. All my links are in the description. There's now a link tree as well to everything that I have to offer, whether it be this show, some discounts on some stuff. There's all kinds of things going on, links to my website, links to the blog. But yeah, golf course Himley wise is we are days away. By the time this podcast goes out, which will be 5 o'clock Wednesday, hopefully you're all listening. Hopefully by then we will have announced when the golf course is going to be fully open. I'm hoping it's going to be Thursday, Friday of this week, providing there's no stupid rain coming and we can get everything done that we need to get done. The golf course is going to be in far from perfect condition, but it is going to be playable hopefully inside the next week. And by the time, as I say, this goes out, all the social medias will have gone out and we will have announced when we are open. So yeah, it's going to be good, especially missing out on this May Day bank holiday. It was a bit of a nightmare, but it'll all come good in the end. I've seen a lot of clients this week, varying from the well practiced and well versed. They've gone away and worked on their game, and they've seen on the sim. I've played with 3 clients this week. It's the most golf I've played since November. I've played 3 rounds of sim golf with 3 different clients this week, and I've seen the confidence grow in different areas. I've seen a couple of them have gone from being a little bit unsure of my coaching, I think, to now they see the direction they're going in and the ability that they're having through my coaching. And we're building plans for not only increasing their speed, but increasing their accuracy and increasing their distance. And across those 3 players, I've got a couple of them who've both not only are growing in confidence with what they can do with their longer stuff, but they're also, I think, a little bit stunned at how good the short game and the accuracy has become, even in such a short period of time. In the space of 3, 5, and 6 lessons, they've gone from not being too confident to they're happy to stand up there and hit one. And swinging freer in this game is a great thing to see. And being able to see, especially one of my clients who's only had 3 lessons, you know who you are. I don't need to mention you, I don't think. They've gone from a little bit wary of their golf game to basically matching me within 3 shots of me. I know I haven't played and I've got a little bit of work to do with the ex-wife, as I like to call the driver. If I can fix that this season, but looking at it, it could be a 3-iron and 3-wood type of season once again for me off the tee, which is going to get kind of depressing very shortly. But they've seen the ability that I have. I've seen the ability that they have, and we were reasonably evenly matched in terms of handicaps. So if you take their handicaps into account, they would have beaten me quite comfortably. Um, so that's the rewarding part of this job, the rewarding part of being any kind of a coach, whether it be, for me, I do personal training, I do mobility, I do kinesiology, I do massage, and I do golf performance. And all of the prior 4 can lead into golf performance. And performance coaching, whether it being able to get someone like I did late last year, a couple of triathletes come to me with a couple of niggles. We worked on some isolation exercises to build up one side of the glutes. It's a story I tell all the time, but it's just such an interesting story that they'd been to a couple of other coaches and hadn't seen that when they were on the bike, they were only really pushing with one side, with one leg was doing all the work. So when they got off the bike to do the run, that right side was completely jammed up because it had literally burnt itself out whilst pedaling. And that fits in. If there's something that we can mobilize a bit more, whether it be the shoulders or spine or hips, then if we can help mobilize those a little bit, we can get a little bit more extension, a little bit more power and a little bit more distance and a little bit more sort of swinging freely, swinging without thought in your golf swing. So if you do want anything like that, you're looking to increase your mobility, increase your power, increase your strength, increase your distance, and increase your accuracy. Because getting yourself mobile, getting yourself a little bit fitter, will help you swing freer because you're not in pain playing golf. I can help with all of that. It's great. Um, and seeing these three clients in particular, some very new, some very old, in terms of how long they've been working with me, I can see that this season is going to be a big turning point because they now understand their swing and they're understanding what they need to do if they see certain things out on the golf course or see certain things on the range while they're working on it, how they can adjust it. And the sign of a good golfer is someone who's going to go away and work on something, and when they see something, they know what they're doing. So if I say, oh, you're swinging a bit left with an open face, they're going to move the ball a little bit forward, close themselves off a little bit. So the club face has got time to square up, but they've not opened themselves up, which is the counterintuitive part to a slice. They think, oh, I need to swing more left, open square the face. No, no, no. Close yourself off a little bit, move the ball forward because you're already swinging left and creating a big banana slice. So they know now if they see this out on course, they can half swing or three-quarter swing, find a strike. They can do this. And that's the kind of coaching that makes me excited to do this job. And it's been an absolute pleasure so far. And we've got a hell of a long way to go through 2024. So if you do want that kind of coaching, all the links are in the description. And of course, this new Played initiative from Golf England, I am proud to be a part of that this year. And talking about the blog and getting fitter. This week, there's a little blog, no pictures, unfortunately. I'll try and add some if I get the chance. But it's 6 banded exercises to help strengthen and put some power into your hips. So if you sit at a desk all day and you go to move and your hips just don't work, or you're driving, etc., whatever, and you struggle to just be in the gym and be a normal person and walk about. These exercises with a little band you can buy off Amazon, mobility band, are going to be so beneficial and they're going to improve your life tenfold. If you stick to it for about 4 to 6 weeks, you will see a massive, massive improvement in your mobility and your hip strength. So go take a read, go grab yourself a band, and do yourselves a favor and get better in your everyday life, let alone in whatever activities you do in it. Okie dokie then, let's get into the news portion, shall we? Couple of interesting things this week, I think. The last one certainly is, and I want to hear from you fans out there as to if there are any weird things going on at your golf club too. So the first one I saw, Padraig Harrington, I'm a big fan. His YouTube channel is very interesting. I've linked people in the WhatsApp group of a video of his this week. You're going to see Padraig Harrington explain a few things about how to drive a golf ball. And it's very, very good. But he is a little displeased with the live golfers and their etiquette on the golf course at the Masters. And we all know Tyrrell Hatton, John Ram, and a few of those live guys have been prone to a few F's and Jeffs, shall we say, just to be a little bit nice on this show. And he said, they really need to, it's something that golf doesn't need, especially at the top level. Yes, you get frustrated, etc., but the incidents, I mean, Kevin Na had a meltdown in a bunker in Singapore or Australia, whatever it was. He had an absolute meltdown. And it's not good. They get paid a lot of money on the Live Tour, a lot more money than being on the PGA Tour for doing a lot less. So what have they got to be upset about? They picked their side. They picked money over legacy. And I know they think they're building a legacy over at Live, but you know, behave like gentlemen. Just what you're meant to be. You're the people that young kids look up to. You didn't see Tiger Woods, F and Jeff, not that much anyway. In fact, rarely at all, I don't think. So, to all the guys that are on Live, think about what the fan base is. I know your fan base is, oh, it's party time, blah, 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 blah. But clearly, you need to have a look at yourselves and what are you encouraging? Are you encouraging young people to get out on the golf course and just swear at everything and everybody? Or do you want them to actually play golf and pick a side, whether they want to play on Live or they want to play on the PGA Tour? You should be inspiring them to be golfers, not inspiring them to be reprobates on the golf course. And I kind of agree with him with that. The second story I saw, now this is going to be a good one. So we all remember Michael Block. So if you're a golf fan, you'll remember Michael Block from the PGA last year. Qualified as a PGA Pro, and then but he was up there, and he's going to Valhalla again this year. But this is a story about another PGA Pro. So this is Tracy Phillips. He's an Oklahoma pro who was once considered one of the best juniors in the United States, has qualified for his very first men's major championship at the age of 61. He shot rounds of 72, 70, 75, and 76 to finish a tie for 8th to punch his ticket to the PGA of America in Valhalla in a couple of weeks' time. It's exciting, and he's getting ready to take off a lot of head covers. But he incredibly, the Tulsa-based pro spent 20 years of his prime golfing career not playing. He dreamt of becoming an elite professional, but it was derailed by injuries and the yips, and he became disillusioned as a younger player. He gave up the sport completely to focus on being a teaching pro. He developed the yips, and he couldn't keep it on the golf course. He couldn't believe he finally, in 2020, finally managed to work out his driver problems. Played some state opens and then tried the Asian tour for a couple of months. He was gone 9 weeks with travel. He lost 15 pounds and he couldn't afford to lose. He continued to struggle with his swing, but when he got home, he knew he was toasted. He'd rather work for his father at Cedar Ridge and become a teaching pro. And he worked for Hank Haney in Dallas for a few years as well. But he didn't play golf for 20 years. Similar story to me. I haven't played golf for over 20 years. I played Royal Lytham in St Anne's at the age of 21 and hadn't played until I was 42. So I had close to 21 years off before I played again. In 2008, he picked his old clubs back up again after 2 decades of not playing. He's now one of the more accomplished senior players, and he finished tied 17th at the 2022 PGA Senior Championship. But he's not seen Valhalla as a golf course, but he's got a TrackMan simulator, and he's going to be playing a lot on that to fix it. So I think that's a good news story. So there are 2 PGA pros definitely to look out for in a couple of weeks' time, and obviously Michael Block's performance is going to be interesting. But Tracy Phillips, 61 years old, first ever major as a PGA pro. Let's keep an eye out for him. That's going to be a good story, I think, to look for. The final news story is something that I wanted to get into because it's interesting, and my club's got a couple of quirks that are a bit weird, but golf is a sport that's seemingly built on tradition, but when you think about it, there are a few conventions that have nothing to do with the game being played, but instead are being imposed by the institutions and the clubs and governing bodies. I cherish the history of the game and the personalities who shaped it, but I also believe some of these rules are now so old and they've been laid down by a gentry of generations, passed down as bylaws through, and they don't make a lot of sense in modern society. So it's fair to say that some of these things just need to be, in my opinion, and a few other people's opinion, this is something that I saw on Golf Shake, need to just go away. So the first one of these that pops up is knee-length socks. This one probably bristles more than the rest, and I kind of agree with this because Royal Lytham and St Anne's, I did turn up in shorts, and I was told I either had to put a pair of pants on or wear knee-high socks, and it was middle of the summer. You know, it's like July, end of July. It was like 40 degrees. I'm like, well, okay, and it was £20. This is back in what 299, 98, 99. That I had to pay £20 for a pair of socks, which I don't even know what happened to them. I think I wore them once and lost them at my golf bag. So you can turn up to some golf courses, and if you're wearing shorts, you have to wear knee-high socks. And if you're not wearing knee-high socks, then they can actually refuse entry, payment or non-payment. They can refuse your playing, and you either have to buy some pants or buy some knee-high socks like I had to. And I think it's one of those things that just needs to die. It's a stupid tradition, and getting to the modern era. The second thing on clothing is shorts. So, like me, that day I decided to wear shorts, but sometimes normal length socks if you're lucky. But a lot of clubs have regulations that actually cover the length of your shorts. And looking at the article on Golf Shake, they're saying there's one golf club in Dorset area that specifies your shorts must be tailored and they are only permitted when they are cut above the knee by no more than 3 inches. So how are they? If you turn up in a pair of shorts, and like I've got Reebok CrossFit shorts on today, so they're pockets in the side, they're quite fashionable. Obviously, they're fitness apparel, but they're quite long, so they fit they go right down to my knees because I'm not exactly short tall anyway. But they're Reebok sports shorts, not tailored, so I get kicked off the golf course for that. I'd have to go and buy some. And then is there someone, oh, they're showing a bit too much leg, who's like 6'2", has got shorts on, but they're more than 3 inches above his knee? Are they going to kick him off the golf course? It's really weird. The other fashion rules, which I don't agree with now, I mean, there's a lot of golf clubs, a lot of private members golf clubs with this one. Shirts must be tucked in at all times. They must be collared. If wearing a baseball cap, the peak must be facing the front. Those three, yeah. If you want to untuck your shirt because you're hot, fine. My shirt tends to untuck anyway because I'm a bit squidgy around the middle. So when I'm swinging, it tends to untuck. Baseball caps on the wrong way or right way doesn't really bother me. If I, we've seen JT and Rory play in the rain with the baseball caps turn around. So it's not a massive faux pas. It's stupid. And of course, collared shirts, which I find really weird now because you've got Tiger Woods and his Sunday Red, and even for the last he won the Masters in 2019 at the most elite golf club on the planet with a non-collared shirt, which goes against the rules of Augusta. But he got away with it because he's Tiger Woods. So if Tiger Woods, in the greatest of this generation of golfers, arguably in the top three golfers to ever have lived, can get away with playing at some of the best and biggest golf courses around the world without a collared shirt on, then what does it matter anywhere else? There are obviously others as well. Mobile phones. There are a few big golf courses in the UK, and I know there's a couple in America where the use of mobile phones is not permitted on the golf course, in the clubhouse, or its surrounding areas, and mobiles can only be used for voice calls in a car park. Mobile phone is confined to the car park, and they should not be used on the course, in the clubhouse, or its surrounding areas. Now I know there's a million and one golf apps where, like Golf England, for example, have an app on your phone. And if you're at one of these courses where mobile phones are banned on the golf course, then how are you supposed to put your scores in? It makes no sense. You're gonna have to stand in the car park and swap your details and put your scores in that way. It's just crazy. It makes no sense to me. Um, Turn them off. Yes, wear a Bluetooth headset, something, I don't know. But they don't need to be just completely obliterated from existence. And then, of course, the biggest one, which is a bit of contention, is membership processes. There are a couple near me, more than a couple near me. You want to join a golf club, you find out that you've got to call or submit a membership form, easy enough. But then some clubs have a more restrictive process, and we're not talking about those elite places that even the royal family would struggle to get into. There's a club not too far away from myself. It's a very convoluted and restrictive membership process. If you want to join, you have to first find a proposer. So, for instance, if I wanted to join said golf club, I'm going to have to find someone who's already a member. They're going to have to ask the club if I can join. Then I'm going to have to also find a seconder. So I'm going to have to find a second club member at the same golf club, both of who must have been full members for at least 2 years, who I've known personally for a minimum period of 2 years. So I don't play golf with them every week. They've been members of a golf club I'm not a member of. Both of those people have got to put me up against the committee. And then I have to go to a committee meeting and be asked a load of personal questions and this, that, and the other about joining the golf club. That's how ridiculous some clubs are. And I think that needs to stop in this day and age. I think everybody, Golf England should be trying to stamp this out. Oh, but we're elite. Elite doesn't know. No, you're just trying to be exclusive because you don't want to be too busy. Everybody hates a busy golf course, and when you get an extra 20 or 30 members a week, those 10 or 15 or 20 tee times have become too much for the club to handle. So, it's really frustrating. And talking about Himley itself, I mean, it's not many really, to be fair. I think I agree with most of them. Um, as a municipal golf course, I'm not afraid to say someone in a tracksuit, someone who wants to come and learn and play the craft of golf in a tracksuit for 15 or 20 quid. What's the big deal? They're playing golf, don't care. I don't care what you're playing as long as you obey the rules and you behave yourselves in an orderly manner. I think municipal golf courses should just allow whoever on. Simple fact. As long as they understand the rules of golf and the etiquette of golf and they're learning to play, I think that's fair enough. And the only other one with us is football shirts. So I agree with that one. Football rugby shirts, we all hit a bad one. And if you've got, I mean, locals off, you've got West Brom, Wolves, Aston Villa, Birmingham City. They're all big rivals. And if you've hit a bad shot and you're wearing one of these shirts, it can exacerbate a situation. oh, you're a blue nose, or you're a villain, or you know, whatever, you're a doghead. It can get, it's another thing to, that person's hit a bad shot, they didn't see you, they haven't shouted for, hey, you doghead, you've done this. It's going to happen. It just exacerbates it, and I get it. I think plain, respectable t-shirts, tracksuits, whatever, doesn't bother me. Football shirts, rugby shirts should be with their respective sports. Are there any things that you guys and girls out there have got? Are there any rules of the golf club? I mean, there's one that I had sent me as a thing for the Q&A, and I didn't use it. It was the in America, all the men had to wear blazers. They had to wear a sport coat to enter the clubhouse. They weren't allowed to wear shorts, and they weren't allowed to. It had to be a collared shirt tucked in. They had to wear pants with shoes, no golf shoes. They had to wear shoes in the clubhouse, and they had to wear a sport coat, so a jacket of some sort. And the ladies were expected to do the same, but they weren't. They weren't allowed to show their arms. And I thought that's really weird. So is there anything weird at your golf club that you think should be changed, especially in this modern era? Do you disagree that municipal golf courses should allow people with tracksuits on? Because, you know, tracksuits aren't a problem, I don't think. I mean, they're casual wear. You're out playing golf. What does it matter? So, yeah, let me know if there's anything weird at your golf club that you think is going to be strange and should be added to that list of things that should just go away and die. We're almost to the end of the show, ladies and gents. Thank you for listening. Once again, please visit the links in the description. There's a link tree on the description of the podcast that will take you to all my social media, all of my blog, and of course now the new link to the Play Golf England initiative for those Sundays. We're going to talk golf tip of the week. And this is something that I've spoken about before already this year, but I'm going to go into it a little bit more as well because I've seen it 3 or 4 times in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And it's something just to think about as the season gets underway, particularly here on Mud Island in the UK. The sun's got better. So it's about golf grips. I have seen a couple of people with so many different golf grips on their golf clubs. So they've tried a fat one on the 7 iron, they've got a thin one on their 5 iron, they've got a jumbo on their 8 iron, they've got corded on their wedges, and they've got some horrible original grips that are completely worn out on their woods. And I'm like, are you actually playing golf well? And they go, no, not really. I said, well, I'm not surprised. Because having that amount of grips, I understand this is going to sound really strange, but sometimes with the longer clubs like woods, hybrids, you know, fairways, drivers, having a slightly thicker grip can stop you from turning it over. So if you're prone to hooking, that thicker grip's going to stop you from turning it over as much. Can be a very good idea. I was explaining to one of my clients the other day that a lot of pros these days are having this Golf Prider line. So they've got a little flat piece on the back of the irons. But when it comes to wedges, the grips are round. So they go back to the standard like Golf Pride or Lambkin round grips. So they've got a more fuller hold of the wedge. So they feel they can control it a bit more. And these are all things that moving into a new season, if you've had your grips on for a couple of years, if you play once a week and you only play in the summer, a couple of years, you probably may even get away with 3 years, providing the grips aren't so where you actually put your trigger fingers, left and right trigger fingers, and where your palms hit, where your thumbs rest. If those places aren't worn out and you use some fairy liquid dish soap and give them a nice scrub to get all the oils off, can bring them back to life, the rubber, gets rid of that oil, and you've got a nice grippy, tacky, or grip on your club again, fine. But if you can see visible wear where your hands are being put on the golf club, they need replacing. And it's not just about the condition of those either. Like I say, the multiple grips, the jumbo on an 8 iron, the mid size on a 7 iron, the ladies or very thin grip on a 5 iron. All these can mean that, oh, I don't like hitting that club, but it's a different grip to all the rest. So if you like to tinker, have a tinker, and if you don't like it, don't just put up with the grip that you've put on. Replace it with a grip, either an original one or one that's similar to all the rest of them, because all you're doing is making you hate that club more. Um, I've seen a new client this week. We were discussing, they play a lot of tennis, so they have a large or extra large grip on their tennis racket, and they've actually got standard grips on their newish set of golf clubs, and their hands look so cramped, like they're trying to hold a toothpick instead of a golf club. That's how cramped their hands look. And I actually asked the question of, do your hands hurt afterwards? Well, actually, yes. I said, well, I actually use a large or extra large grip on my tennis racket. I said, well, this is going to sound really silly, but for the sake of another 50, 60, 70 pounds, which I can do, you need to get rid of those grips, cut them all off, put either I wouldn't say jumbo, but I put a large or a mid-sized grip on them, and just to give your hands a little bit more of a comfortable feeling, and you'll probably find you'll strike them a bit better. So yeah, thinking about the size, I mean, I have played really well with a mid-sized grip with really tiny hands because it stops me from flicking through the ball. And these are all things that you need to consider when you're buying second hand, when you're buying brand new, when you're being fitted. Because if you've got a tendency to hook a lot, then the thicker grip's going to stop you from doing that because you won't flip your hands through. And the same with your putting. If you're a flicker with your wrists, a big thick grip to hold onto just shuts down all your extensors in your wrists, in your forearms. So it doesn't allow you. If you grip something really tiny, you've got loads of room, like you can wave a lightsaber about. But if you grip something really wide, you find you can't, your arms, the tensors in your forearms won't allow your wrists to move as freely, which means you're not flicking at putts. My wife likes to have a big grip because she's a flicker. So the big grip has stopped her from doing that. And now she's quite calm with her hands. And she holds more 30 footers than I've ever seen. She can't hit it from 3 feet, but 30 feet, not a problem. It's crazy. So please, before you go out and play a lot of golf this summer, check your grips. If they're cracked or cracking, or they're really greasy, quite slippy, give them a scrub. If they don't come up, go and get them replaced. A PGA Pro or a golf club will have someone there, like myself at Himley, who would more than likely, I can look at some clubs, I can order you some grips. And within a week or so, a week to 10 days, you can have a full set of 13 clubs or 10 clubs, re-gripped, same grip, and that you'll be good to go. So yeah, please, 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 tip of the week is check your golf grips. If there's any signs of wear or ridges where your hands go on them, they need replacing. They might feel comfortable, but they could also be costing you a lot of shots. And that's about it. Thank you very much for listening. I hope there's something interesting in this show for you. Please check out the links in the description. Go and check the blog out as well. What do you make of Padraig Harrington thinking the guys on live are a bit sweary? It's probably because they play all the music on the golf course. No one can actually hear them swear, so it's just become a default state for them. Look out for Tracy Phillips, as well as, of course, last year's sensation Michael Block at the PGA in a couple of weeks. Um, LPGA Cognizant is up this week for the ladies tour. PGA Tour are at Myrtle Beach. The Aramco Team Series for the ladies European Tour. Liv don't have an event now till June, which is crazy. And the DP World Tour has no event until the US PGA in Valhalla. Also, as well, is there anything weird and wacky at your golf club that you think it's 2024, let it go? Let me know in the emails. Link is also in the description. Failsafefitness@hotmail.com. Have a good week, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the show. See you all again next week. Bye bye.